We are back. We are live for another exciting edition of the hashtag Wednesday Match Play. And I almost didn't even click start because I wanted to just sit here and talk to this guy because it sounds like he and I have a lot of stuff in common, completely separate of what we're here to talk about tonight. But we are back. And I just, there's so many things that we could talk about. And I told him that this half an hour would fly by, and it's going to. So I'm going to cut to the chase. I'm going to introduce Russ Holden from Caddy for a Cure. And before I even begin to start talking about what this concept is, what the brand is and the product, I'm just going to let him take a couple of minutes to introduce himself, introduce the Caddy for a Cure concept, the website, and all that they do. And they do a lot, and they are doing a lot of things that are making some big impacts in the game of golf. So, Russ, welcome to the Wednesday Match Play.
Hey, Ricky, it's great to be here with you. I've enjoyed our brief time together already, and I'm really excited to be able to tell all your viewers and listeners what Caddy for a Cure is. Caddy for a Cure, humbly, is what we like to consider one of the most unique opportunities in the world of professional golf. That is the chance to come caddy and spend an entire day, be part of the team with one of the best players in the world, whether it be on the PGA Tour, the LPGA Tour, or Champions Tour. We've been operating now for 14 years with well over 800 experiences now underneath our belts, offering the average golf fan to be able to come inside the ropes and walk arm in arm and actually learn what it's like to prepare literally just hours away to play for millions of dollars. We've been so blessed to have the PGA Tour support us. Most all of the players out on the tour have gotten their arms around what it is we're doing, helping some exceptionally great causes. Birdies for the Brave, the military outreach of the PGA Tour. We're humbled and honored to be affiliated with them and to be able to support them both financially as well as offer experiences to our brave men and women who have raised their right hand and volunteered to protect our freedoms to be able to have a conversation just like this tonight. The impetus behind our program is a rare bone marrow disorder called Fanconi anemia. If you haven't heard of it, don't worry about it. It's a very rare orphan disease, and I've got a real good friend when I was back at Woodfield Country Club here in South Florida back in the early 90s, Bernhard Langer's club, which we'll get into here in a little bit, came to work for me, had been pitching for the California Angels, double Tommy John surgery, baseball career over. Like many of us, he wanted to be in the golf business. So I hired him, and it was literally just days later I knew we were going to be friends for life, and that has turned out to be true now nearly almost 25 years later. But just about a year later, his wife gave birth to their second child, Christian Collins, on August 25th, 1993, and Christian was born with this rare bone marrow disorder, Fanconi anemia, that ultimately leads to failure. And tremendous amount of birth defects that come along with it, and I was hooked. You could say Caddy for a Cure was born that moment I laid eyes on Christian, fresh out of the womb, in that basket there when I saw the birth defects that he had taken. So fast forward a little bit, two more healthy boys. Their fifth child, Kalen, was born roughly 5 years later, and he also has what we call FA. And when he came, that really sealed the deal. And I knew somehow, somewhere in my life, I wanted to be able to do something that would make a difference on this disease, to be able to raise awareness and raise funds, to be able to eradicate it. And here we are, many years later, 22 years later. I didn't have the foggiest idea what we were going to try to do to raise awareness and raise funds. But I started caddying a little bit for Bernhard Langer, who was a resident at our club. And I had this great idea that there I was rubbing shoulders with the likes of Tiger and Phil and Ernie and all the great players. And I knew that a guy like Ricky Potts would want to come out and spend a day with a Jordan Spieth or a Ricky Fowler or somebody like that, and that you would make a generous donation to our worthy charities. And I was right. And again, here we are.
That is awesome. So what a cool story. I mean, I feel like this should have been like an extended edition of the Wednesday Match Play. There's so much to talk about. But so you talk to all these names, Tiger and Phil and Fowler and all these guys. So how do you pick what players to work with? And does the tour help with that? Do you decide? Do they decide? What's that process like from your end? And then to the individual like myself that says, hey, I want a caddy for Tiger. How do I make that happen? So what's that process look like for you and for the company?
Well, it's changed a great deal. 14 years ago, there was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. Remember, I came attached at the hip to Blue Blood, one of the classiest and greatest men in the history of the game, Bernhard Langer, and everybody on tour knew me. I failed to mention, I had Bernhard Langer was a resident at my club back in the late 80s. And I started out in a part-time coaching position with him. His longtime caddy, Willie Hoffman, would come in from Germany, and I would be like a sponge. I try to take everything I could possibly learn from that. And when Willie would leave, this was way before technology like this. It was $5 a minute to send a fax back and forth to Germany, let alone pick up the phone and call somebody, let alone be on the web with someone anywhere in the world. But Bernhard asked me to caddy for him in 1990, and his regular caddy, longtime caddy Pete Coleman, couldn't make it one week. And I had tried to play myself out of college. I was a pretty good college player. I had a good, successful career. And I went out and tried to play for 3 years, and I like to say I like to eat on a regular basis, and I knew that wasn't going to allow me to do it. So for me to go out and caddy was kind of the next best thing to be in there, and I was hooked. So I became a big thorn in Bernhard's side, and I started asking him all the time if I could come caddy. So it ended up being 2, 3, 4 weeks a year, and that went on for about 11 or 12 years. And in 2001, Bernhard decided to play here full-time, and Pete resigned, and I was in the right place, right time. So I ended up caddying for him full-time for about 6.5 years. So when I came out, everybody knew who I was already. So it was easy for me to approach because I would do it during tournament rounds, before, after, whatever. And it, again, being attached at the hip with Bernhard made it that much easier. But it was still a lot of raised eyebrows as to what is Caddy for a Cure and what are you doing? And slowly, the players got their arms around it and said, well, this is kind of a no-brainer, really. It's easy for me to, on a practice round day or a pro-am day, to have Ricky come out. It's just another player. And we were very blessed. We've had nothing but unbelievably great people through the years. And then in 2005, we added the military aspect to it. I'd love to talk about that. We were in Valero, Texas Open at La Cantera, right next to the Brook Medical Center. And the PGA Tour, being as patriotic and military appreciative as they are, walked 6 young men down the range that had all lost legs. And Bernhard, as you know, works very hard. And I was in caddy delirium trying to watch him hit balls for 3 or 4 hours at a time. But yet when I looked over and I saw those young men being walked down the range, I realized that they did that for us, for me. And I had this great idea. Hey, I got Caddy for a Cure. I've got Ricky Potts, and he comes out here and caddies for Bernhard Langer. Why couldn't he be escorted by one of our brave men or women who have served? And I went to the tour, and it took them about 3.5 megaseconds to say, we like that. And that has since turned out to be really one of the greatest things that's happened to Caddy for a Cure. So to get back around to answering your question, the players come in oftentimes searching for me. The caddies, the professional tour caddies that once raised their eyebrows, now look at me and beg me and ask me, when are you going to pick my man? When are you going to ask my man? Because they get the day off and they realize that. As well, they've had some great relationships, and we've had some great people, and we're raising a lot of money for a lot of great causes.
That's so cool. Like, I mean, I can't even imagine like being able to do that. So I got the opportunity just a few weeks ago. I was an honorary observer for an event, and I was thinking, this is really cool. Like, I mean, I've been inside the ropes before or whatever, but like to be able to walk with the group, and not obviously as a caddy, but it's a really different perspective when you're inside the ropes than being on the other side, and that's a really so. I gotta know, is it during? It's obviously not during tournament rounds. It's during pro-ams and/or practice rounds. Is that when you mostly have the caddy program?
It is. We do both pro-am and practice round days, but I have to tell you, the pro-am round really works the best for us. We know that the players are going to be there at a certain time. We know they're going to play all 18 holes. We know that there's a teeny tiny taste of competition, and it just works really, really well for us. And now that a lot of the better players have gotten used to the pro-am format, that they actually request that. We do have the occasional guy or girl that'll say, let's do it on Tuesday. And there's assets to that as well. You'll show up at the tee, and the first tee, as you know, is kind of open season. You may walk up there and have a Sergio Garcia or a Ricky Fowler or somebody like that standing on the tee, and everyone's a big family out on tour, and off you go. So you'll have more than just your own individual player that you've requested to caddy for.
Okay, so then to that point, I would assume that this is a part of that, but a two-part question, I guess. One, what are the live auctions that are a part of your website? And then maybe this is the answer of the next question is, how do these individuals that want to participate get involved? Like, so where does that start? That if I wanted to come caddy, So live auctions, and then how do I get to be able to be a caddy?
Well, we have a great webpage, caddyforacure.com, and we spell it with a Y, CADDYFORACURE. Right there you can see a schematic of all the players that we have. It's a dynamic schedule. It's constantly changing. We're constantly, selling experiences that are no longer up on the site. And what I always encourage people to do is go to the site, and if you don't see your favorite player up there, give us a call, send us an email, and we'll do what we call make a marriage happen. So if you wanted a particular player, a Zach Johnson or a Justin Rose or somebody along that lines, I'll suggest let's pick a venue or a couple of venues that they may or may not be playing, and I'll try to see if I can work it out. So I'll approach the player and just talk to them and say, hey, are you going to play such and such event? And do you have anything going on that week that would preclude us from doing a Caddy for a Cure? And they'll think about it and think through it, and they'll say, no, you know what, that week at that venue would be great, and I don't have any corporate commitments or anything like that. It's not my hometown. I don't have 8 million family people around, and that'll be a great week. So winner, chicken dinner, we go back to the potential caddy and let them know that we, in fact, have a caddy experience all set up for them.
No, it's so cool. So you said it C-A-D-D-Y. Why that spelling versus C-A-D-D-I-E? And I don't know which is correct. I think they're both right, but I mean, everybody's going to have their opinion. So why did you decide to spell it that way and not the other?
I would think that the polls over 14 years would say that the correct spelling is IE, but frankly, your bottom drawer stuff right here, if you look at our logo, our Caddyman logo, it was already long to begin with, so we were trying to save characters, and we thought, hey, this is kind of a unique twist. This opportunity to go caddy. Hey, it's great to go play with somebody. Ricky and Russ go out and play golf, and we have a picture taken at the end of the day. We spent 18 holes together, and that's awesome. Golf is the greatest game by far, and I'm not saying that that's anything but the best to have that opportunity. But if I go and play golf with you and you hit it down the right side and I hit it down the left side, we part ways at the tee, and then we rejoin up sometime, hopefully a few shots, not more than a few shots later on the green. But when I'm caddying for you or vice versa, you're not going anywhere without me because I've got your clubs. You're not going to do anything because I've got your clubs on my back. So caddy experience is a completely different perspective, and we know it's a unique twist. We know it's not for everybody. What we know that the people that have done it have come back and said things like, greatest experience of my golf life. I don't know how I'm ever going to watch a tournament ever again from outside the ropes. I've got a new perspective on caddying, and I have a great respect for the men and women that are out there tour caddying, and things like that. So we know it was a unique perspective. We knew it was a unique twist. So why not put a Y in there instead of an IE?
Like it. So let's say I'm going to be caddying this week, and I've never done that before. Is there a training component to this from your end, or are you just kind of letting them figure it out and work with the player and the player's caddy? What's that look like to somebody that's never had the opportunity to caddy for a player before?
It's a great question, because what we try to do is a whole experience. It's not just the caddy opportunity on the Wednesday, let's say. What we ideally try to do is a Tuesday meetup where I would take you behind the scenes, take you up and down the range, introduce you to as many players as we can, take you into some rarefied areas that otherwise you wouldn't be able to go, putting green, driving range, caddy areas, those kind of things, the equipment trailers. A lot of golf junkies out there that are really into the equipment aspect, and you've got the best in the world, whether it be Ping Golf or Callaway or TaylorMade, Titleist. I find that extremely interesting, and most all of our potential caddies have also said that this was really one of the great part of the experiences, to be able to go in, and you never know who's going to be in those vans. So we take them through, show them where everything's done, and then typically dinner Tuesday night, and then golf, the tournament on Wednesday. We don't know the tee times until Monday. We'll make our plans, obviously, when we get on site, but typically it's an hour in advance there for the warm-up, and you're right there the whole time. I obviously, on Tuesday and before the round on Wednesday, we send out a whole package of literature on just kind of do's and don'ts, and there's many conversations that go on between myself and the caddy prior to the caddy experience. But the fail-safe in this is the tour caddy goes along with you. So the bag, the first question everybody always asks is, how heavy is that bag? They try to make it as light as they possibly can. And what I always tell everybody is, hey, let's make sure you enjoy yourself. If you get out there and you go 7 or 8 holes and the bag is maybe heavier than what you thought it was, take a break, enjoy yourself. You're going to still stay inside the ropes, and maybe you'll do some towel duty and some divot duty and maybe rake a few bunkers, clean a few golf balls for the player, but still enjoy your experience and do the best you can. There's no loss of manliness if you can't make it all 18 holes. Let the tour caddy who does this every day do it. And occasionally we'll have somebody that just can't make it all the way.
So I always neglect to mention this, and it's partly because the lower thirds, which is normally like a signature that goes on the bottom of these hangouts, haven't been working for months. But this and all episodes are presented by Eat Sleep Golf, and they sent in a ton of questions. I've already asked a couple, but one of them that they wanted to know, of all of the amazing experiences that you've had over the years, is there one that stands out as your favorite? Like the one memory that is just at the end of this when you retire that you think back to, that is the one memory that I will never forget. Anything like that stick out?
Yeah, I do. I have one that obviously always pops into my mind. We had the great one. We had Jack Nicklaus agree to participate to do Caddy for a Cure. He's actually done it several times with us right here in our hometown, our neck of the woods, the Honda Classic in Palm Beach Gardens. And it was kind of a quick put together thing. And I had one special man in Fort Worth, Texas. And I was really, frankly, very pleased that we were able to put the whole thing together. We had Drew Brees in the group. We had Dan Marino, and there was one other big celebrity. But Jack was just awesome. And we were running around. We had a couple of wounded service members in the group, and everything literally had just turned out perfect. And I literally was looking up at the sun on the 16th hole, just going through the bear trap there. And I said, we did it. We did this. We have Jack Nicklaus doing Caddy for a Cure. The caddies are having a great time. The Warriors are having a great time. Life is good. What could possibly go wrong? And our caddy immediately leaned over and tapped me on the shoulder and said that he's lost Jack Nicklaus's putter cover. And I immediately had noticed before we went in that Jack had a putter cover that looked like it was about 25 years old. And I even thought to myself, that must be Jack Nicklaus's lucky putter cover. And I said, my goodness gracious, don't tell him. Do not tell him. And I went like, I had my wife, and we had a couple other board members there. This putter cover's got to be here. Somebody's carrying Jack Nicklaus's putter cover. And the caddy disobeyed me, and he went over and told Jack. And Jack looked up at him, and he put his hand on it. He says, we got a factory right over here. He says, I got 10,000 of those putter covers. Don't worry about it. And that was a load up. But I'll tell you, for about 3 minutes, I literally thought I was.
You might have just turned off your headphones there. I'm sorry. No. Oh, no. I wanted to hear the end of that story. Nothing.
How about if we don't use headphones?
There we go. Now I can hear you.
Okay, sorry about that. I don't know, malfunction there on the headphones.
No worries. Well, that's really cool that you and Jack was a little bit, I don't want to say before my time, but Tiger is my that's my, I mean, he's right above me here, and I collect his memorabilia, and like he's just like everything that's written about him, every magazine or paper he's on, I got to buy it. Have you ever worked with Tiger? And on that same kind of what I think he might have said no, do any players tell you no?
Haven't had anybody come out and flat say no. Tiger has obviously not said yes yet. And we've got an amazing statistics going on right now. In the 14 years we've been doing it, we've had 28 players, men and women, win either the week of or the week after they do Caddy for a Cure. It's been an amazing statistic. I don't necessarily believe in karma, but if there was such a thing and it was good heebie-jeebies going on there, we like to say that it's good things happening to people that are good. So I've tried very hard to proselytize that statistic, and I'm getting real close to maybe offering that up to Tiger on a personal note if we get him back out here, as the whole golf world wants him to be back.
Yeah, that's really cool. What a cool stat that you guys keep that. That's really cool. So now you work with the LPGA Tour too and the Champions Tour. Do you prefer working with one tour over another, or are they all just pretty receptive and does it just all kind of feel the same, just with a different field of players?
Yeah, they're distinctly different. And I mean, truth be told, no one's going to hear this, right? I really like the LPGA. The girls are so approachable. They're so nice. And it's not to say that they're not nice on the PGA Tour. It's just a different air. Security might be a little bit more lax, where it's just it's just a little bit more homey. It's a little bit more down to earth, and I think the girls are a little bit more relatable. Hey, they're superstars. I mean, they're pound for pound, inch for inch. These girls are just out of this world. Lexi Thompson's a big fan. Lives a couple of miles from where I sit right here. Grew up in our hometown here at Coral Springs. Lydia Ko, caddy for a cure last year. Morgan Prussell, Brittany Lincecum is a big fan. We've done very, very well. I love going on the LPGA Tour. In fact, looking forward to, in just a few weeks in Michigan at the Meyer Classic, going to have Lexi Thompson up there. But, the Champions Tour is, again, a different entity. We've done very well there, had many successful experiences. But I don't think there's anything like being with one of the top-ranked players in the world. We had Ricky Fowler 2 weeks ago at the Wells Fargo Championship. Having a wounded service member, we had a wounded Green Beret on the bag, and a great caddy, a great customer, came down from New York City, David Fontanella, and there was, that was our dream. That was our vision 14 years ago, to have one of the best players in the world. Our feeble way of being able to say thank you to a wounded service member for everything that they did for us, and have a customer come down and make a generous donation to our charities and have a great time on top of it. Doesn't get any better than that.
That's awesome. So you talk about stats, and you just mentioned the charities and donations. Do you have a number that you look to reach each year and a number that you've reached from the beginning? Do you have those stats readily available at all times to be able to know how much money is being raised from this program?
We do. We have grown exceptionally over the years. As you remember, way back when, nobody knew about it. Social media wasn't there. This opportunity wasn't even existing when we started this thing 14 years ago. And we've slowly grown. My wife and I like to pat ourselves on the back and say, wow, Caddy for a Cure, we've had so many great experiences. And then it never ceases to humble us when we find out somebody like yourself that's right at the heartbeat of the game, and maybe they've never heard of Caddy for a Cure or one of these opportunities, and we realize we have so much further to go. But we're obviously on different numbers now than we were back then, and we're very, very pleased. I've just sold Adam Scott and Jason Day at the Barclays, and it doesn't get much better. We're all Aussie there so far. We're going to have to find another Aussie or two to add in there and make it all Aussie up at the Barclays.
That's pretty cool. So tell me about the board of directors. On your website, it's listed out, and there's quite a few of them. So talk about what the board of directors means to Caddy for a Cure, and what your relationship is with some of them.
We have a great crew of people that help us out from all diverse walks of life. We have an attorney on our board that's here locally, that's an avid golfer in the medical industry, medical field. He was with the Broward County Sheriff's Office for 23 years as their head legal counsel. We've got some people. We've got a member up at the Ridgewood Country Club, again, home of the Barclays every 2 or 3 years. We got another gentleman in Minnesota. And again, it's people. I think people are originally attracted to it because they like golf. They like golf at the highest levels. And then what happens when they get in and they actually see the touch that we've been able to have, that just kind of happens. When we're dealing with some of the people, one person in particular comes to my mind. We had a young man caddy for Lee Westwood several years ago in Memphis. And, it was another classic week. We just, my wife likes to say, we got him and loved on him for several days and wrapped our arms around him, and we ate a little bit and drank a little bit and had some fun and got some golf and did everything. Only later did I find out that there was some severe PTS going on, some severe nightmares and emotional flashbacks from some of the things that this young man had seen. And I didn't know it at the time, but Caddy for a Cure was going to be his last stop. And he had fully intended on going home and pulling the trigger and ending his life. And when we found that out later, it was really a stark reminder that it's really important, one at a time, for us to take this great game in whatever niche you're in, which we found our niche, which is caddying, and do what you do. If it's at your host club and you can entertain them by a round of golf or something, we believe that golf has such therapeutic effects on some of these issues, that this addictive game that we all love, that you can take 4, 5, 6 hours out in God's fresh air and be able to go out and enjoy a unique experience every single time you go out, means the world to these men and women that are really suffering with this silent disease. We know the stats are out there. It's 22 a day are taking their lives. And if we can touch as many as we can through our Caddy for a Cure program and make a difference, the way we did with this young man's life, we know we're in the right place, and we know we're doing the right thing.
Man, that is just, what a cool seat that you sit in to be able to do that and to have that impact, and to be able to have brought something as simple as caddying for a tour player that they're willing and able to let you do that, but then the ability to have stories like that to look back on, that's awesome. So we got time for one more question. Then I didn't tell you about this, but at the end we do what's called the lightning round. It takes it a little bit away from Caddy for a Cure and puts it more on your shoulders. But before we do that, tell me a little bit more about your sponsors. I know you got one on your hat right there. Under Armour is the sponsor. As a matter of fact, Under Armour has just started working with Troon as well. So Jordan and his crew, and it's really cool to see kind of what they've done. And they're kind of a quiet brand, but talk a little bit about the sponsors that you have and what they do and how they help Caddy for a Cure.
We're actually thrilled to have the sponsors that we do. We have some great people that have been there year in and year out for us. And Under Armour, as you mentioned, comes to mind the most. These people heard about us and what we were doing, and they approached us, which is a very unique circumstance and situation in today's environment with regards to marketing dollars and charitable dollars and everything like that. And when they approached us in the fall, they said, we're all in. And we like what you're doing with the military. They're obviously huge military supporters. And as you said so perfectly, they are a quiet brand that is slowly taking over the world of golf with the Jordan Spieths and Gary Woodlands and some of the other young players that they have signed to their agreement. So each one of our caddies gets a incredible Under Armour package. Beautiful sunglasses, Under Armour sunglasses by iKing. You see the hat, a sweater, shirt, pants, socks. It's a head-to-toe outfit that is worth several hundreds of dollars, and each and every caddy gets that. And they obviously outfit us while we're out on tour, as well as support us in other means and other venues. And we're just thrilled to be associated with this brand, and we love it. We love Under Armour.
That's awesome. Yeah, and it helps the stuff looks pretty good too. So, and Jordan Spieth definitely makes that brand stand out a little bit with what he's been able to do on the golf course, and still boggles my mind that he's 10 years younger than me. It's just disgusting. What did I do with my life? I needed to make more birdies, I guess. So I can't thank you enough for having come on today. I told you it was going to go by real quick. We have just a couple of minutes left, but before I do let you go, we have this thing called the lightning round. It's just 9 fun questions that are a little bit about you, a little bit about Caddy for a Cure, and all about golf. So are you ready for the lightning round?
Let's go. I'm ready.
Who is your all-time favorite PGA Tour player that you have had the opportunity to work with that you just look forward to working with time and time again?
Jack Nicklaus.
Yeah, I want you to say Tiger, so I'm gonna pretend that you said Tiger because Tiger is the similar. I get that. So you're a golfer. You've played some pretty good golf in your career, from what I understand. What driver are you currently playing?
Ping G30.
That's a good club. What is your favorite PGA Tour major championship? And I'm actually going to make this a 2-part question because I meant to ask this earlier. So answer that as a part of the lightning round, what your favorite PGA Tour major is. And then after you answer that, have you had the opportunity to do Caddy for a Cure at any major championships?
Yeah, the Masters, hands down. And yes, we have done it at a few majors. We had Rich Beam at the PGA Championship at Hazeltine, which was a reunited event there. And we also had Todd Hamilton at Bethpage during the U.S. Open. Majors are a little bit more difficult. Has to be just the right player in the right circumstance. But, yeah, we have done majors, and we'd love to do some more.
That's really cool. Have you ever had an ace?
I've had 13.
Oh. What? That's a new record for the Wednesday match. 13.
Yeah, my first one was in the Western Amateur way back when, and I don't know. I was on a run there for a few years. I was making 2 or 3 a year for quite some time. What's the phrase? It's the evidence of an ill-spent youth. I played a lot of golf.
I guess. My goodness, I play a lot of golf too. Guys in the office give me a hard time for how much golf I play, and I've never even. I mean, I've sniffed a couple, but I've never had one. 13, man, that's just. Don't take offense to this, but that's just gross. What golf ball are you playing that's getting you 13 hole-in-one? Maybe I need to change my golf ball.
Yeah, I wish it were the golf ball because I would switch too. I just play Titleist. I play the X. Titleist.
Okay, it's a good ball. What is your all-time favorite golf movie?
Oh, Caddyshack.
Yeah, that's good. That seems to be a popular answer. So,
is there another golf movie? Well, Tin Cup, I guess, is up there, but
I like Tin Cup. That's got some Arizona roots, and I related to that a little bit more now as I'm getting older. I can look back at Caddyshack and find the humor in it that I wouldn't have been able to find when I was a kid. As a matter of fact, we had a presentation at a summit earlier this week that I was at by the team at Caddy Master, and he showed a clip, and he was like, "That's the quintessential private club caddy right there." And if you like Caddyshack, you know exactly what scene he's referring to. So what is the one course that you've never played that is at the top of your bucket list to play that's accessible? Not just, oh, I want to play Augusta. And as far as I know, with 13 aces and all that you've done, you might have played Augusta. But what is the one course that's at the top of your bucket list that you haven't played?
That's accessible by anyone.
Yeah, that would be accessible.
Well, that's a good question. I would have to say top of my bucket list is going to be St. Andrews. Even though I've been there, we finished 4th in 2005. And that's one of my life dreams, to take my wife and my children over to Scotland and play St. Andrews.
That would be cool.
That would be cool. Yeah,
that would be a neat experience.
That would be a neat experience.
So I have to ask this. Do you think Tiger breaks Jack's record? Why or why not?
No chance.
Oh, I like you until now.
I'm sorry. I know you're a Tiger fan. I am too. I think he's been great for the game. I think that the personal aspect, that anyone that's been through a divorce with children knows some of the devastating effects that can have. And I believe that as tough as he is, as strong as he was, that he went through a devastating time in his life that was very sad, that we all unfortunately got to or had to watch. And I think he's recovered from it now. He seems to have a wonderful relationship with his ex-wife, and he seems to have a wonderful relationship with his children. But unfortunately, I think time may have passed him by. That's just Russ's opinion. The other side of it is there's a lot of really good players out there right now that grew up watching him and aren't really afraid of him. And that's a different aura, that's a different mentality or a different vein than what it was when he was at his best. And everyone, when Tiger walked out, it was almost good for 2 or 3 shots. So,
all right, I'm gonna let that answer slide.
That's a good answer.
I'm sorry.
That's a good answer, but
I don't like it.
I'm sorry.
And your final question of your hashtag is, what is next for Caddy for Sure?
Well, we've got a great summer coming up. We have our really big event, the Liberty Mutual Invitational. It's our 9th annual golf tournament that we have here in South Florida. We have a lot of celebrities that come in. Lexi Thompson's been in. Roger Clemens comes every year. We've had a few of the Miami Dolphins, a few of the Miami Heat. We've had several military people. General George W. Casey was chief of staff of the Army. Ran the Iraq War. Was here. We've had Alan West. We've had several congressmen and whatnot. It's kind of turned into a really wonderful event. This year we have some big dreams. We want to give a house away this year to a wounded service member and their family, and we'd like to. We're deeply involved with Canines for Warriors, started by Bob and Sherry Duvall David Duvall's mom and dad up in Jacksonville and Ponte Vedra. They're doing awesome work up there, and we'd like to also raise enough money to be able to sponsor a service dog for, again, one of our PTS victims for one of our brave men and women. I just visited last week during the Players. It was my first time on property, and I have to tell you, I haven't stopped thinking about it since. The work that they're doing up there is mind-boggling. I'm a dog lover. I've got my Great Dane sitting right here next to me, and again, golf, dogs, things that can really change a person's life. We're all in. So we have big dreams. And we're going to be out there trying to raise a bunch of money this year to be able to fund all these things. And won't that be a great time when we can hand the keys to one family and change a person's life with a service dog on another all-in-one weekend. So that's going to be December 11th and 12th here at Parkland Golf Club in South Florida. And we'd love to have anybody that's listening come on down and join us for that.
Man, what a cool company, and I could talk to you for hours. Unfortunately, we've run out of time. But I can't thank you enough for coming on the Match Play. Again, visit your website. I'm going to make sure this gets shared to everywhere that I possibly can. I know that the team at Eats It, and I thank you for all that you guys do, and I look forward to meeting you and playing with you and hopefully in the future. So the next time you're out, let me know, and I'd love to take you home and buy you dinner and sit down and talk more about all you're doing, Caddy, for a career. I have to end as I always end, and remember to eat, sleep, golf.